Good morning. Welcome back to the Ahn Rho Project. This is the self-therapeutic multimedia project for me to solve the problems and challenges of my life, as well as a self-improvement process for me to reach the goals and heights I've set for myself. 11 seconds in. All right. Welcome back to Twitch, YouTube, wherever you're coming from. What you see is what you get. Take a look at the title. Take a look at what we got here on screen. What do we have? This is BDMP, standing for the basics of decontamination, maintenance, and purification. And that's a whole load of BS and jargon. Just a way of short forming it for saying that I have a lot of stuff to do here today regarding the basics, stripping things straight down to just individual tasks and getting as much done as possible with respect to just the basic human needs such as food, clothing, shelter, work, money, that kind of stuff, and of course, relatives and so on. Now, with that being said, of course, I should give the introduction, and that's, before I deep dive into that, I want to say what's on stream for today. Going to be 3 streams. It might be 3, I think. This is the first of 3. I don't know if I'll punch out actually 3 depending on time constraints. I might make only 2. But needless to say, the first one is going to be a task kill spree. So if you take a look at the title, it's a TKS, so task killing spree. That's just an analogy I use. You can take a look at the emoji. That's really a sub-series, TKS, task kill spree. We have in here 4 panels that show, and there's actually a 5th one, which I'm going to switch out later, all the things that I've needed to do in the past week or so, plus about 10 that I recently added, 10, 15 that I'm going to actually speak about today in this first of 3 live streams. The second live stream, we're going to try to, hopefully by that time, having covered all of these things, and I'm not sure that I will be able to get that done. But we're going to have to walk around the room, and you can see just a tiny sliver at the very bottom of this screen, of course. There's a whole bunch of stuff in the background. This is the room. Okay, this is my room I'm renting out. And it's just, in chaos. The past 3 months have been chaos, and the room is as messy as it possibly can. It can't really, well, it can always get worse, but I mean, my point is it's disgusting already as it is. And so we're going to go about cleaning and decontaminating, which is really my way of just saying, we're going to throw away a lot of shit. It's like inventory. Year end just happened yesterday. I just touched that on yesterday's live stream about how I went to work and this year end inventory for 2020. But needless to say, I'm doing that personally, like personal inventory, not just business and work and employment, but also personally. So that being said, why don't we get with the introduction, and then we can start covering all the things that we need to cover on these task panels. So the Ahn Rho Project, I mentioned the snippet, of course, self-therapeutic project and self-improvement process. All the positives and negatives in my life, the problems and challenges, resolving them, and the positives, reaching the heights, the goals, ambitions I've set for myself and for the people around me. So the Ahn Rho Project is broken down into several, vocabulary I like to use are sub-series, domains, and analogies. So sub-series, we have things like 1,000 days till death, pretty straightforward, right? 1,000 days to death is time management. We have item catalog, that's a physical live stream. It's a very physical one where I just capture everything and show the source where it comes from, the nutritional facts. We have things like a sub-series such as the one that we have here today really is a mixture of TKS, so task killing spree, where we have all these panels here, all the tasks enumerated, codified by each domain of life. And that's the task killing spree, and BDSM, of course, we have all that kind of stuff as well. So that's a sub-series. Domains, broken down domains. Domains are basically different areas of life. Think of finance, employment, business, relationships, caregiving, your personal principles and philosophy, education, groceries, food, shelter, how much you're paying, so financial matters, how much you're paying for your rent, all that kind of stuff, everything coming together all at once. Insurance, investment, we have just basic materials like electronics and devices and all that kind of stuff, abstract things like concepts and like I said, principles of living. So all that kind of stuff, those are different domains of life covered within these sub-series. Sub-series focus on a specific combination of them. And analogies. So finally, last but not least, analogies of the Ahn Rho Project are really a way for me to communicate and bridge the gap between myself in this project and all of you who may or may not be watching, analogies really just try to make things easier for you to understand what the Ahn Rho Project is about. So for instance, I said it's a self-therapeutic process. It's also a self-improvement process. That's kind of, it's a lot of words. A good way to think about it is, listen, um, you know, it's a time capsule, right? So here's an analogy I like to use. 30 years down the road, I'm going to look back onto this 30 years down the road to see how much has changed, how I used to be, and to watch myself grow alongside in the process. Even I'm just looking back maybe a couple months from the future. Another analogy I like to use for specifically the item catalog subseries is to say it's like business inventory. I take shipping and receiving principles and I apply it into my personal life. So cleaning your room, like that kind of stuff, but kind of databasing everything that you have. So that's another analogy I like to use. And last but not least, I have a couple analogies which you can see on my Twitter or Facebook or whatever YouTube profile. But needless to say, that's how everything has the main portion of which is just a life management project. So the main analogy would be like the Human Encyclopedia or philosophy in practice, because that's really what this is. It's about pragmatics, being practical, and turning sort of the theory that is abundant in philosophy into something that is actually workable, that you can actually do, ingrain in your behavior and actually get stuff done. So with that being said, that's the Ahn Rho Project. It's a very long-winded introduction. Today I'm practicing on it. It's a new introduction. And so we're just going to start with the content that we have today. And so we have 4 panels here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can see that I'll break it down for you in terms of numbers and then the domains of life, and then we have the tasks. So you see the numbers is just the order at which I wrote down the tasks. Domains, of course, you can see them, accessories on the far left-hand side, clothing, and it's grouped together accordingly in some way that I can make sense of it. So in the middle, you can see nutrition and health goes together, business, employment on the right-hand side, and goes on and on. I have about 5 panels, one's not being shown. So what's new today? Actually in the past 24 hours, so I would say that there's about 4 or 5 different domains. First one would have to be the most important, has to do with caregiving and relationships. So my maternal side, and I already mentioned in all constantly for 2 years that I started this live stream, I have to say that, of course, I've had a very broken family dynamic, and it kind of shows in me. One of the main reasons I started the Ahn Rho Project was to resolve my personal insecurities and my own issues. So one thing I can say without a fact, it's very difficult for me to try to take care of my caregivers, and that's something that I've set for myself as a real challenge. What's happened is I've realized yesterday I had a conversation with my maternal side, my mother, and she's mentioned these bruising spots on her back that she hadn't noticed when she went to see traditional Chinese medicine. And so what she found out is that after seeing her family physician, those might be a sign of blood cancer. And so that's I'm at this point, I'm so desensitized from all the hell that I've been experiencing for the past 3 months that I'm just not surprised anymore, having 1,000 different things on my plate. And I don't know how I'm laughing, because this is my mother right here, and it's serious, and it does hurt. But there's no time for me to be crying on the floor and all that kind of shit. So I have to find some solutions to that. And so listed here, I believe 105. This may or may not hit home with some of you. I know that this may, depending on who's watching, this is yes, a little bit emotional at times, but and it's not this is not a family friendly. I mean, my streams are not PC, all right? So with that being said, what am I going to do with regards to health and business? So that's the caregiving and relationships portion of it. At the same time that I spoke with her, and she mentioned that sort of illness, and seeing the family doctor, so health related, disease related domains of life. On top of that, we also at the same time, she needed my help with application to get sick leave for her job that she's lost already. So previously I mentioned maybe a week or so, we applied for EI, so employment insurance. And then on top of that, she also wanted to get some sort of term life insurance. So this one's not sick benefits, but life insurance. So she's worried that she's going to pass away and leave behind nothing for my brother specifically. And both of us really want to take care of my sibling. He's for most of my life, he's the only family I've had because unfortunately, my mother and father, they've had a very difficult time throughout their entire lives and have not been there for me. In fact, they came home and they would do things to me that resulted in the in the really sad, I guess, state of situation that we're in right now. So with that being said, that's kind of relationships, caregiving, and we have included in there also employment. I'm getting a little bit stuttery right now. I need to calm down a little bit. Come on, get together. So employment, right? Employment, because of and insurance. So we have financial matters there, we have employment, we have caregiving, health, and disease. So far, that's a task, I believe. I'm going to pull off a panel here and try to show the last one. That's where it's at. So you can see is that 101, 102 at the very bottom, relationships, family, and that's what it's really all about. That's 101 and 103. 103 actually has to do with volunteering, actually. External family, that's someone who I actually keep up to date with, and I want to introduce him to my caregivers, just to sort of bring up the mood, because at the same time, they can connect really well, given that my external family, who I've searched out on my own when I was volunteering, to have people in my life who can contribute positively to mine and mine to theirs, I can say without a fact that at this point, I would rather have them just meet together and they can share their challenges together. So that's 103 right there, and 101 has to do with that, sort of all that kind of stuff, keeping up to date with tabs. 100, you can see again, caregiving up there. And I was talking about 99 is actually the insurance company and the employment stuff. 100 over there on the top left has to do more so with me actually bringing my business and molecular research and cellular nutritional company and trying to treat, if I can, do something for my caregiver. So I'm the caregiver now at this point, but before she was my caregiver. So I'm going to try to see if I can use some powerful antioxidants and vitamins and nutrition to really bring her health back up to some sort of manageable state, at least give her better quality of life if she can't stay here with me. So with that being said, that's about 4 different sort of tasks grouped together. I can say without a fact there's still more upcoming, so I'm going to remove that panel and bring that back up. We can see about 95, 94. No, 94 we covered already. 97 here. So it has to do with, I received 2 envelopes as well yesterday, having to do with one from the student loans center, and basically I've paid off my loans in full, so that's great. So I don't have to worry about that financial burden. So that's got to do with government education and money, obviously finance. And then I received another mail that was regarding my new sort of credit card, and so I have several of those anyways, but this is just another way of improving your credit rating. So financials, once again, credit. And so I have application. Now to follow up with that mail paperwork, I have to scan them again, keep electronic tabs on them, and document and archive them. Also, I have to, of course, with regards to the credit card, have to activate that. So I'll give a phone call or something. And last but not least, I also did inventory at my workplace for the past 2-3 days, tried to get along with my colleagues, and I started to work on a new Excel spreadsheet that documents the floor plan, the logistical work, and the assembly, and how the packaging works for all my colleagues when I do leave. Last but not least, I received a whole lot of meals, free meal, 2 meals. One I gave back because I felt irresponsible for being late. Other one I accepted, and that's going to be in the next live stream because I'm running short on time now. But needless to say, you can see the sliver here. It's on my laptop. It's all a bunch of garbage. There's a lot of bagels and shit like that, and it's really wholesome meal, and I'm grateful for that, for my owners and the staff that really took care of me. With that being said, let's move on to the next live stream. See you in about 5 minutes on the Ahn Rho Project when we do a physical upkeep of everything. So we'll be moving about. See you there.